August 6th, 2014. Cathedral Park, St. John's, Portland. Paranormal investigators.
I'm William Brown, and this is Cathedral Park. And we're here to do an investigation on the Thelma Taylor murder. It's August 6th, 2014, the anniversary of her death. And we thought maybe that would help us get a little extra facts about everything. So, let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We're going to start off by looking for Dama Stern. She's the other lead investigator on this investigation. And she's the head of a team here in Oregon. A very nice woman. I've had a chance to speak to her many, many times, and I'm sure that this is going to be a fruitful event.
Spooky. Spooky. Already. It's 9 o'clock on the 6th of August, 2014. The anniversary of the murder here at Cathedral Park, St. John's. Under this bridge is where it happened. They're around here somewhere. Okay. There they are. Is that some kind of ghost spray?
Bug spray.
I was like half awake for one.
Hey, youngin'. I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
Totally do not want to hear it.
It does feel really nice to be the youngin' here now.
20-year-old. They got 20.
Are you kidding me? I'm the old man compared to the majority of my group.
Oh, really? You're the next gen.
I am, yeah, or the previous gen, depending on how you look at it. But,
Okay, so who wants to tell the story
Dama,
of why we're here?
Oh, wow.
So whoever wants to do it, just kind of launch into it. And I'm going to continue to just do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Well, maybe we can attract some energy, too, by talking about it. I'm going to start recording, though. So just so you know, I will be recording.
Yep. Yes, you'll be recording me, recording you.
Exactly. Interesting little word. Right. This is Dama and Brian, William, and I'm sorry, what was your
David.
name? David. On August 6th, 2014, at Cathedral Park, investigating Thelma Taylor. Thelma Taylor was a young girl, 15. It was 1949. This is the 65th anniversary of that. She was walking to work, and she wasn't far from she was at a little bus stop. She wasn't very far from catching the bus to go out to Hillsborough, Beaverton area. And a man who was homeless, living in his car, named Leland, picked her up. And, back in 1949, and I apologize, that's my horrible ringtone. Screwing up the story.
That's all right.
Should have put it on quiet, sorry. Doctor Who. That's not ominous. Stop. Sorry. So, she was picked up by Leland in the car, and that was the last time she had been seen alive. And she was found the next morning, strangled with blunt force trauma to her head, and Leland had raped her and murdered her when he heard people coming close to her, and she was fighting off his advances. So since that date, people have heard a young girl yelling, help me, under the bridge in this area in Cathedral Park. A lot of people think it's Thelma Taylor. It's been happening since then. She's also buried not too far from here at the Columbia Historic Cemetery, which we will going to later, visit her gravesite. And actually on that site, I have done investigations and caught some screams. A woman screaming really turns my stomach and is unsettling, considering you know the story. So that's why we're here. We're going to see if we can contact Thelma, see if we can get any evidence of her being here at Cathedral Park.
I'm personally very impressed that you know that the murder didn't actually go down here. That's a common misconception.
I'm sorry, I didn't even mention that. Yeah, a lot of people do think that she was killed here under the bridge, and actually it was about 8 blocks north of here, right off of the railroad tracks. It's really industrial now, kind of harder to get to, but a lot of people. But this is really where people congregate, and that's where they hear
everything. It seems to be the epicenter of all the activity. So
now, to add to that, this bridge actually is very famous for suicides. Lots of suicides off this bridge.
Really?
Yes. And also even more so is there's a lot of Indian history here, and the whites giving them smallpox and just horrible stories. So then I could go on forever telling you stories, but there's a lot of old Native American energy here that they were along the river doing their fishing and stuff. So
of course.
So you got kind of a trifecta of things at this location that could be causing activity.
My kind of place.
We're excited. We're excited to be here
Very.
on the anniversary of her murder.
So Thelma, if you're listening, we'd love to hear from you.
My name's David.
My name is Naima.
I'm William.
My name's Brian.
And we want to hear from you tonight. By whatever means you can do it.
We have little toys with us with lights on them. You can try talking into them because we can record your voice. We may not hear it now, but when we go back and listen to it, we can hear you, and maybe I can help you out if you have any questions or if there's something we can do to help you.
Nobody's heard your side of it.
Yeah.
Did you bring an EMF reader with you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And additionally, EMF, a very simple way to contact us and allow us to know that you're nearby.
Yep. I have a millimeter here right now.
Activated and everything.
It's all ready to go. So yeah. And it's been flatlined since we've been here. So if we get any hits, it's an unusual.
That's good.
So right now, 70 degrees and 0 EMF. I'm also activating, this is a radiated EMF that I have, and it's going to make a little noise here. So if you want to go and walk or be in the path of this, you can make the little lights light up, and a lot of people like to play games with the lights. And I'm going to set this away from us for a little bit. You don't have to get too close to it.
That is a nifty little toy you have there.
It's an all-in-one, I love it.
That is very cool.
Because with the meter over here, none of the living can screw around with it.
Exactly. And I'm going to put a little recorder there so you can come over and talk into the little lights.
We'd like to hear whatever you have to say. Anyone. We'd like to hear from any spirits tonight. Any spirits. Yes. We want to hear from you. Just do the best you can.
Okay, so Thelma Taylor, it's 1949. She was a 15-year-old girl who was going berry picking in Hillsborough. She was going to catch the bus out there, public transportation. So she walked a few blocks. She lived right off Oregon. She walked a few blocks up to the stop. But before she got there, this homeless guy named Leland, he was living in his car at the time, pulled up in his car and offered her a ride. In 1949, it was a different time. So she took him up on the offer, and he didn't take her to the stop. He actually brought her down here to where Cathedral Park was at the time, which was covered in weeds and berries and just overgrown, homeless. It was a bad area. And he proceeded to rape her. And then when he heard somebody coming, he was doing that all night. When he heard somebody coming in the morning and she was screaming, he ended up strangling her and went first trauma to the head kind of thing and killed her. This happened 65 years ago today. And she actually wasn't murdered here in Cathedral Park a lot of common knowledge. Everybody thinks that she was murdered here. There's also the rumor that she was held for a week. It wasn't a week, it was only 24 hours. But she was murdered about 8 blocks up the way, north of here, right along the railroad tracks. So,
Brought back?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think another common rumor, don't quote me on this, but another common rumor is that people believe that he actually didn't molest her because he found out that she was a virgin. I don't know the validity behind that.
She was, the police reports did say she was raped.
Oh, there you go.
So she was. The other thing about this park is there's been a lot of suicides off this bridge. There's a big history of that in Portland. It's very well known. As well as there's used to be a lot of Indian history along the banks and the shores here. The white people giving them smallpox and doing horrible things to them, and so there's a lot of energy here. So people here have been hearing a young woman yelling, help me, and they think it's Thelma for years since that incident happened. So a lot of people correlate that to Thelma here in Cathedral Park, and that's why we're here. We're trying to make contact with Thelma.
Did you have any readings tonight? Was there anything that
Actually,
showed energy?
Surprisingly, it was pretty quiet up until when we were going to leave, which usually is a common thing that I run into. It's like right when you're going to leave, they do something. As I was
Now or
away.
never.
Pretty much, and I'll say stuff like that when I go to the cemetery. I'll say, okay, we're leaving. You want to talk to us? Now is the time. As we were leaving, William, I think it was William that had said Thelma's name pretty loud, pretty prominently. And I'm just walking, not really even paying attention because we're walking to the car. And my equipment kind of went crazy, and it just did this, which it doesn't often do, which is electromagnetic hit. It went to a 0.5, and this is a radiated electromagnetic hit, so it means it had to have crossed this antenna area. And so I have not been able to debunk it yet. I've been measuring all around the tree, the light, the ground. There is no EMF here. So I don't understand what set that off.
And what is the
But it was
EMF?
interesting, electromagnetic field. You know, like you as a person, you know, you can set off electromagnetic, or even a plant could on some levels. This is radiated, so it's just in this area. But your electromagnetic field, you know, it can be, it's believed that spirits conduct that, and it's an evidence that that's a spirit. Very interesting that it happened right when he said Thelma's name roll out. I don't know why, but I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. But so far, I haven't been able to debunk what happened there.
I think she likes me.
I'm also recording, so I'm hoping I'll review it later, and maybe I can capture her voice.
So she was killed up the road.
About 8 blocks worth. Of the road.
Brought back to here, or what's
No, it's just that people think it's Thelma here in the park because they keep hearing a young woman yelling, help me, and it's been happening since her murder. So a lot of people in this field associate names with things. You know, it could be anything. It could be somebody that had fallen from the bridge. It could be anything. But tonight, because it's the anniversary, we're kind of focusing on Thelma, which is not what I normally do, but that's what the story is tonight. So.
And do you walk around then, like down to the waterfront and up front, and see just what kind
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet today, you know. I have been drawn all day to the cemetery, so I can't wait to get there. I'm just dying to get there.
And was she
We
buried
operate on
in the
her.
She's
cemetery?
buried there.
Okay, so that's where the other connection is. So she was
Yes.
found, and then she was put to rest.
She's put to rest in a place called the Columbian Historic Cemetery, or the Historic Columbian Cemetery, excuse me.
Which is where we should be.
Which is a very haunted cemetery. It's and haunted in many ways. Haunted as in sad, and haunted as an activity. And I don't usually like to say something is haunted in activity, but it's high activity there. I've never gone there and not had an experience.
I always thought.
Even Michael, who's new to this, I took him once and he was intrigued.
No, I mean, intrigue would be, I would say I saw evidence of things that I couldn't explain, and I'm pretty open-minded, and it was really fascinating to actually see something that you can't explain, but it happened. And we're not talking about UFOs in the sky or something. It was like there was clearly evidence that something else was happening here that was beyond our realm of perception. We couldn't see it, but it was there, and it was
And that's what
really,
I do. What
really
we do.
impressive.
I'm trying to explain
Very impressive.
what that is. So,
I actually have a question for you here about this site.
yes.
Is there ever? I've heard of spirits crossing water or not being able to cross bodies of water. Is
Yes.
the fact that there is a bridge here a kind of a false sense of crossing for a spirit, that a spirit could come to this location in anticipation of crossing, but they still
really
can't?
is on your train of theory, what theory you believe. I am a huge believer that water conducts energy, paranormal energy. A lot of
Forms of energy.
a lot of high level areas are usually pretty close to water. And there's been cases documented where something happened, maybe even in another city, but there was something related in another city down that river, and it would happen in the same night at the same time. You know, like it would be connected. So I think there is something with water.
I think connectivity is probably the best word for it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's a conduit, though. I mean, for energy. I mean, what are you when you pass
Water
away?
is always conductive.
It's a form of energy, I believe.
Well, our species is how much water.
Yeah.
that too.
You know,
Yeah,
But it's the
fascinating.
same thing like with quartz. If you have something with a lot of quartz in the ground, you get a lot of activity as well. So,
Because quartz is piezoelectric. If you compress it, it generates electricity.
exactly, exactly.
But looking at both sides of that argument, if somebody was to take their life by jumping off a bridge and land in a river, which is water,
Yes.
and you don't believe that water actually can conduct the energy, then the view would be that they would just be lost to the river. There would be no
They could be
connection.
trapped. They could be
Dissipated.
It could just
Flow of the
dissipate.
river.
And there's so many different unanswered
Fish
questions.
food.
This is such a new field, and such we're just barely scratching it with sticks and stones. You know, we're the pioneers of this. Even though they've been doing it for years, it's the technological side of it. To actually read this is a new field. So. We're trying to get some answers. I won't probably have it in my lifetime. I'll find out after I pass on, but hopefully other generations will be able to pick up where we leave off. So, but yeah, the cemetery we're going to, there are so many stories and so much going on that I just can't wait to go there.
All right, we're with you.
We're gonna go.
To the cemetery?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Oh, you look a little apprehensive.
No?
Okay.
Oh, you're scared?
Okay, I'm gonna save
he goes,
the rest of the
Alright, no, let's
camera
go.
memory
Let's do
for the
this.
cemetery. That was really good. Come on.